Moving on to markets now, there's a lot for producers in the Midwest to think about since the floods hit. Planting has been postponed or even canceled for some producers. Now, what's the cost associated with that? Some are feeling heavy effects from livestock loss, and with all the losses producers are feeling in the weeks since the floods hit, how does this affect marketing and risk management? This week, we're joined by the president of Heartland Farm Partners, Jeff Peterson, who discussed how the floods are affecting local markets and how you should adjust your marketing and risk management plans. Have there been any personal impacts for you, anybody you know, or you personally with these floods?
You know, with these floods, it seems like a lot of our customers and a lot of our friends have been impacted. Fortunately, I haven't been impacted directly, but it seems like everybody we talk to has either been out helping individuals take care of things, or they physically are dealing with somebody who's been impacted by it. So it seems like it's touched about the whole state and the whole region for that matter.
Can you describe any impact on grain or livestock that you would see in the coming months, and what specifically?
Yeah, you know what, there's a lot of impacts, and what it seemed like is everything that needed a sense of urgency to be dealt with got hurt, the first. So any of the livestock that got killed, that's always bad, and our prayers go out to those who lost the livestock. But in addition to that, what we see is anybody who needed to go ahead and feed livestock were definitely impacted as the floods. But then it moved beyond that. Just trying to go ahead and take the livestock to market got impacted. And then we seen the next really step from that got to be the logistical item. Anything that dealt with trucks or trains all of a sudden started backing up. So your ethanol plants started backing up. They might be able to get corn, but they couldn't get rid of their ethanol. And then that happened overall on the soybean processing side. So it really kind of ground agriculture in Nebraska to a halt in many areas.
Any sector or crops impacted one more than the other, corn, soy, or livestock for that matter?
I think so. I think the livestock would have to be the worst because they took some physical losses where there was a number of livestock between the flood and also the blizzard in Nebraska that all happened kind of at the same time, depending on which end of the state you were on. The livestock industry got hit really hard. Then from there, I'd say we'd have to move down in the processing sector. So anybody who needed to bring grain in or try to get rid of their distillers or soybean meal, they really got impacted hard. I think overall the corn probably got hit harder than the beans from that aspect, but those are some areas that definitely saw some impact.
As far as immediate impact on any market prices or futures, what are we seeing there?
Yeah, you know what, unfortunately, as bad as this was, the bigger impact we're probably seeing is on local basis levels and changes. It seems like at the national level, the markets really didn't make much of an adjustment because of what we've seen so far. It's kind of sitting back and waiting to see how everything turns out before we probably see any focus come in on the future side of the market from Nebraska's impacts.
Now, we know with these floods, planting has been delayed or flat out canceled for some producers. Can you speak to any detail on that?
Yeah, and it is a big deal. The thing that everybody is trying to do right now is they're trying to sort out how big of an impact, how many acres. Because we were fortunate last year, we didn't have a lot of prevent plant. But this year there is going to be prevent plant this year, and that's going to be sorted out. There's a crop report that comes out at the end of the week here and is going to talk and try to address the planted acreage numbers, prospective planting numbers. But in Nebraska, we're definitely trying to sort out the amount of acres because there will be some acres that will go unplanted.
Now, for soybean producers, it's been an interesting year. First, we've had the trade woes, and now this. Is there any updates on how that's really affecting the soy?
Yeah, I really feel for the soybean producers. It has been quite a year because we are finally starting to get back some demand, and now we've got the problem of logistically getting those bushels moved out, whether it be by barge on the Mississippi River or to go ahead and get it railed out or trucked to the different markets. But those things will clear up over time. So let's talk about the big thing that's impacting soybeans, and that would be the talks with China. So things are moving forward. As a matter of fact, this week we've got our lead negotiators in China negotiating, working through those details, trying to figure out how we're going to be able to get it so that we can enforce some of those items that we agree to with China that they're going to do. Now, what's nice about this, though, is that next week, actually the Chinese trade delegation comes back to the U.S., and there'll be some additional talks that will happen then. So that'll be another positive step. And then when we get those 2 weeks of discussions done, then we hope that maybe President Xi and Trump can get together and finally get this trade talks behind us. So we are making progress, but we're not there yet.
And I guess lastly, do you have any tips as far as marketing or risk management goes with all the flooding that's been happening?
And that's what's hard, is that there definitely has been problems that have been created in different areas. But with those problems, what we want to look through them, and we want to look for opportunities. And some of the first opportunities that I think actually are showing up is there are some markets that are showing some really good basis opportunities. And this would be basis on the old crop side. So what that means, if you're a farmer and you've got some old crop bushels, maybe they're in storage in the elevator, or you've got them on your farm, this gets to be a good time in here to watch the basis closely and look at doing some basis contracts. We don't want to physically sell here yet. We think there'll be better opportunities to sell down the road, because we think there'll be some uncertainty about this weather, about this wetness, about the acres, and we think if we could get a Chinese trade deal behind us, we think that that would help give this market a little boost. So that'd be the first thing I'd look at, the basis opportunities. Then from there, I think we will have an opportunity when we see some of this uncertainty happen. It'll build some additional premium into these prices on the future side, and that will give us a chance to then make some additional sales on the old crop and also on the new crop. Where is that level for us? We're probably setting about 10 cents above where we're at, where we'd want to be getting ready to make a round of sales on the new crop and then also be making some sales on the old crop side.